Alright, so welcome to the Braddell Heights Landed Estate. So this is also known as Wolskel. So if you've watched two of our landed home tour series previously, we have featured some of the landed homes within this beautiful estate at D13. So what's attractive to a lot of landed home owners is that they were hunting here because of the fact that it's just a short 6 minutes walk towards Serangoon Central. That's where Next Mall as well as Serangoon MRT is being located. So what we're going to show you today is not one landed property but three at one go. So I'm standing in one of the largest one, which is sitting on a land plot of 6,555 square feet with quite a ginormous build-up of about 9,700 square feet of build-up area. I'll save the best for the last because in my opinion, the basement is something that is one of the key sweet spots of this beautiful detached home. Let's go. Alright, so if you're a family that's hunting for three different landed properties but you want to stay within the same landed enclave, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to find three at one go within the same zoning. This presents, of course, a very interesting option for you to consider, which is to buy three that is sitting side by side of each other. These three homes, one being a detached status with the other two being semi-Ds by itself, they were all TOP and completed its construction in year 2019. So this used to be a huge detached plot at number 7, but after it was being redeveloped and subdivided into three different homes, this now forms 7, 7A as well as 7B. These are all 2.5 story mixed landed zoning. And most of the time, when landed homeowners purchase 2.5 story mixed landed zoning, depending on the URA demarcation, meaning that if you are entering into a landed enclave, you have to adhere with its height restriction ratio. So right now, it's a 5-bed, 6-bath detached home, fully en suite. Level 1 gives us an additional powder room right beside the dry kitchen. The basement level has its own bathroom right in the center core as well. So level 2 has 3 huge bedrooms. One is a gigantic master that's facing towards the front of home. Level 3 comprised of a garden zoning right towards the back, as well as 2 huge bedrooms facing towards the front. The lift shaft creates that invisible line that separates the living towards the dining as well as the dry kitchen. Now the other two semi-Ds just beside me at 7A and 7B, there are 3,006 square feet plus minus. They're sitting on quite a massive build-up as well at about 8,000 plus square feet of build-up area. They have its own basement area as well. So if you were to look at the pool right here, it does a length and width together with a private jacuzzi right towards the right hand side that allows you quite a bit of lapping within your own landed home. You also get to see that 5 meters green buffer. Any landed home that's tucked right beside the road line, you have to observe towards that green buffer zoning. But of course that space can be a very beautiful in-house garden that your kids can enjoy because of the high green wall as well as the canopy that has been created. This presents itself as a very private home that you can enjoy because the high wall technically blocks off anybody that's walking right outside your landed property. But at the same time, you can also enjoy a nice convenience with a side back gate that your kids or family members can come back from with a dual entry point on top of having that main gate right in front of you. We need to talk about the 4 categorization of landed homes. Cat 1 are usually landed homes that have been classified that we need to tear down, rebuild or reconstruct. Reconstruction maintains the structure and the pillars of the existing home. A rebuild means a total tear down. So if you want to construct a basement, you will usually have to do a full-on rebuild and a total tear down starting from scratch. We are right in the middle of between Cat 3 and Cat 4. The reason is because Cat 3 homes are usually homes that's below 15 years, but this is only 3 years old and it has TOP in the year 2019. So you're almost buying as good as new. And this category of home at Wolskel, 7, 7A and 7B will fit the bill if you're hunting for something that allows you to move in straight up. So what forms a detached property? Now, a detached property minimally must have a width of 10 meters, sitting on a total land plot of 400 square meters. The categorization is that it must be at least a 4,003 plus square feet of land size. Now, this is sitting on 6,555 square feet. The width of the land plot at the front is comprised of a combination of 12 plus meters as well as 8 plus meters tapering at the side. We also want to highlight the ceiling height right here is about 3.4 meters. The wet kitchen zoning is being tucked right here. I'll bring it towards the back first. So something to know is that the ceiling height is pretty consistent. This 3.3 to 3.4 meters has already been factored in with the false ceiling being attached up. Utility room is being tucked with a secondary entrance right outside the home. So that allows a lot more flexibility, especially if you have a live-in helper. You want to give them a little bit more privacy. That entryway is actually right outside towards the back of the home. That also of course serves as an additional utility zone area. Your helper's room also has its own attached yard bath. This is the powder room that's tucked beside the dry kitchen. Dry kitchen of course is very important because that allows you to serve and host your guests as well as your family members directly. Dry kitchen is pretty spacious. The reason why people hunt for a detached is because they want to have a dual setback area with cross vent coming from both ends. If you see towards my left hand side, this is called a cantilever lift that serves from basement level all the way towards your attic level. So as we move to level 2, you realize that the materials that are being used for the level 2 and level 3 landing are these huge strips of very beautiful timber material. You have a very nice walkout zoning right outside your master. That is a beautiful space for you to enjoy the rest of the landed enclave. This master room actually is the size of 2 huge bedrooms being combined into one. It has its 4 different resting zoning within your master. One is the resting zone where your king bed resides, and the other one is your little living area right here together with a living lounge. And the third zoning will be your walk-in wardrobe space that is combined with this beautiful ensuite, his and hers kind of concept. A long bath in comprising with standing showers. Large spectrum tiles has been used for the ensuite bath. Most importantly is that the configuration is for the ensuite to open up to the front part of the home, and that creates a lot more ventilation within your ensuite space. Now let's talk about why buying a bigger land plot compared to a smaller land plot has a significant difference in 5 to 8 years down the road, assuming that the landed market will continue to appreciate with just core inflation in Singapore, which is about 3 to 4% per annum. If I were to just take D13 as a comparison example, if I were to pump in a search criteria into some of the most popular portals right now, when we key in these few key parameters, a landed property that's at least 3,500 square feet, below the $7 million benchmark for semi D home, it has to be a ready to move in landed property and not something that is still under construction. You realize that less than 50 homes in the entire D19 estate, if you were to take away new built homes, existing stock is pretty limited. Most of the new built homes, they follow this key criteria of having a detached home with a minimum size of 400 square meters. Semi-Ds usually follow a 200 square meters land plot. When we look at price appreciation of landed properties, we talk about land PSF. Assuming you're buying a semi-D at $6 million that is brand new for a developer, 2152 square feet of land size, compared to this home which is asking for 6.98 million for 3,600 plus square feet, what's going to happen in 5 to 8 years down the road is that assuming both landed homes are in the same enclave and they both appreciate by $500 per square feet in terms of its land cost pricing. So a $500 PSF increment for 2152 square feet will amount to this figure, but for 3,600 square feet amounts to this larger figure. In quantum, the significant difference is pretty significant, especially if you're aiming for a bigger home to move to in 5 to 8 years time. So with that, we also want to talk about our trifecta pricing component. We are talking about the detached home, which is asking about 1,008 plus PSF with a $11.5 million asking price as a quantum. It has a big land at 6,500 plus square feet, comprising of a 9,000 plus build-up area. So if we were to flip over to the semi-D or 7A and 7B with $6.98 million asking quantum price, $1,900 plus dollars per square foot, which is still below the 2,000 PSF mark. Total land is at 3,006 plus square feet, as well as the 8,000 plus square feet of build-up zoning. Now, level 2 has also been nicely configured in the sense that there are 2 huge bedrooms facing towards the back of the house. So that gives you that flexibility for your children to be on the same level. So all 5 bedrooms are being ensuite. It also has its own mini walk-in wardrobe space together with ensuite. Based on the design and the current state of the home, it's very well maintained in the sense that just a new coat of paint, a little bit of touch-up, you are ready to move into this 3-year-old home. I don't have to bring out my measurement gun because just by looking what kind of furniture is in this room, you already have a sense of how huge this room is. Currently, there's a queen bed, the side table, there's still a double bunk bed right here, and we still have a lot of space that your kids can enjoy. Before we enter into the third bedroom or level 2 landing, you also have this nice spectrum of storage space that's nicely hidden with this hidden cabin area. You can put in a water dispenser, you can put in a coffee machine right here so you don't have to head down to level 1. And this is a mirror image of the room that we came from. It is a nice bedroom with its queen bed, similarly with a walk-in space, as well as an ensuite right towards the back. I think it's time for me to bring you up to level 3. Right behind the portion of the attic level is this open area. If you were to own this space, what we're going to do here is to have your own little mini barbecue zoning right here, as well as your own open kitchen right within this zone. Second way that you can utilize it is that this can be a place that you can lay out with beautiful artificial turf that will allow your kids to come here and play openly with the beautiful sunlight during the day and not always be indoors. Third way to utilize it is that this can be a real legit garden space with your own plantation as well as your own greenery right here within this zone. Put in a nice beautiful wooden canopy right at the top as well. The fourth way to utilize it is as an exercise area. So you can put in outdoor gymming equipment. This can be a great place for yoga and Pilates. These are just 4 different ways of how landlord owners usually utilize their space on the roof terrace deck. Attic level has 2 huge bedrooms facing towards the front of the home. Ensuite has already been done. We love the fact that it has huge resting zoning. For the 4th and 5th bedroom, they both share towards the front balcony facing towards the Wolskel Estate as well. Something to talk a little bit about the Wolskel Estate is that right down towards Jalan Riang, you have a nice beautiful row of restaurants and cafes, and of course the food there is simply fantastic. You can take 6 minutes walk towards one of the largest malls at Serangoon next. That is a mega mall sitting on top of the cross section of Circle Line and Northeast Line that will bring your kids to almost all parts of Singapore with the MRT network. The 5th bedroom is a flip image of the 4th. And right now, I think it's time to head down to the basement level. So rare to get an enormous space within the basement area because not all developers want to spend a huge sum to construct the basement zoning. If you were to look at the size of this basement, the basement occupies a huge chunk of the entire built-up GFA. There's currently like a combination of a play zoning, entertainment area with its own indoor golf area. Let's have a look at what you can do with this room. This can be an entire indoor mini playground that your kids can enjoy right here. Put in a lot of different learning materials that your kids can have. It can also be transformed with a full spectrum of a home office right here with an entire U-shaped row of work desks with a meeting table right in the middle. It can also be transformed to a full-fledged gym that you can have with this area. And most importantly, this can also be a huge, gigantic bedroom. Sometimes developers don't build shower areas within the basement area, but you have a full-blown washroom right outside the landing zone. Now, why is this very suitable to be a bedroom? Firstly, of course, it's fully air-conditioned. Second is that it has this very nice green zoning that it can be an outdoor garden right at the basement area. And this core right here also fits ventilation right down from level 1. Now, this is of course a nice storage area right here that you can have. And this is bathroom that I was talking about. As you can see, the lift serves all the way to the basement. Huge storage area underneath the stairway. And this room is very interesting right now because now it's a combination of a study library, a couch area as a secondary living zoning, karaoke room as well as a mini gym right there. Now, I want to show you this dry pantry here because this dry pantry not just gives you a huge tabletop space, it also has this very nice, let's look at this, Fisher & Packer fridge space right here that acts as a fridge, a wine chiller, it has a freezer function, it's also a pantry space. If you can visualize, this is almost like your second living area, so you don't have to depend on level 1. What you can do is that you can do double entertainment. For example, you're having your friends over, but at the same time, one of your family members also want to have their friends over. So you can do concurrent hosting for different groups. It doesn't have to really affect your lifestyle. It's a huge entertainment space by itself. And I think now it's time to revisit the fact of the construction costing of the basement area. If let's say you're contemplating between buying a detached right here at Wolskel at 11.5 or the semi-Ds right beside us at 6.9 in comparison to something that is of the Cat 1 category, and maybe you have your own intent to rebuild something to your own configuration. You're trying to weigh between building your own and spending the next 24 months. So let's take costing as one of the comparison factors. Cat 1 homes, let's say you manage to hunt for something right here, same land size that you can get, older plot of land at maybe about $7 to $8 million, and you want to build up to maybe a 9,000 square feet. So we just take a base construction cost of about $350 to $400. Of course, right now if you ask any builder, they will quote you about $400 to $450 depending on your relationship with the builders. Multiply by 9,000 square feet, that will then bring up to about $3 million. And if you do not include your rental cost outside for this 24 to 36 months, then let's plumb in back to the $7 to $8 million land cost pricing. That will then bring you up to probably about 11 plus to 12 million dollars depending on the quality of the construction. If you were to go for something that is of a semi-D status, when we look at some of the new homes that are asking in Serangoon Gardens as well as Wolskel, a lot of the brand new homes at 2001 to 2005 square feet land size are already going at about $6 million range with $2,000 plus dollars per square foot, some even asking for close to 3,000 PSF. And with this $6.98 million being a 3-year-old home sitting on a larger plot of land at 3,006 plus square feet, but 1,009 plus per square foot, it is definitely worth considering the amount of time spent that you can save. And that hopefully will help you to make a decision factor of entering at these two categories of home at Wolskel that hits its trifecta in terms of price and quantum bandwidth. Alright, so we've come to the end of this landed home tour. If you want to look at these 3 homes, make an arrangement with our PropertyLimBrothers landed team. Their numbers are right here down below. Do remember to follow us on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. My name is Melvin Lim, PropertyLimBrothers CEO and co-founder. Very happy to show the place, and we'll see you soon. Okay, I think it's 在这边。Okay, 来，你们在那边。I think 你们在那个 corner。因为我讲一个床。I think 你们给我一点点 movement， 可能从这边开始。Now, though that can then bring you to a $1 million. That can bring you to a $1 million difference. 这是1 million。爽吗？按摩，按你的脚。